Good afternoon, it's Mr. Tom here again with another video for you. I'm out here at the banks of our wetlands on what turned out to be a windy day. I want to show you what I was able to collect. So just got a measuring cup and I gathered some of our water. See that in there? So got some algae, little sticks and twigs, of course some mud in there. Dirty wetland water, would not want to drink it. All right, but today I'm going to show you how to make a water filter. I'll see you back inside. Needed a swig of coffee there. Now you may have noticed in the mornings your parents like to get up, maybe they want to make some coffee, maybe they use a Keurig machine, or maybe they do filtered coffee. Basically how the filtered coffee works is, if you've ever seen those, dry, brownish bits, coffee grounds, you pour that in and it mixes with hot water in there. And when that happens, basically what comes out is essentially a boiled down coffee ground. And that's that brownish liquid that we all call coffee. That is one way to think of a filter. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it before. But as I mentioned outside, we're going to be making our own filter. And I'm going to show you the materials I've got. Let me start off with this here. Basically, all I did was I just cut this half of the bottle off. This is going to be our filter. You don't need the cap, just leave that open as is. But actually, you can keep this. This is really useful, and I'll show you how that works. I've also got scissors, rubber band here, some sort of a measuring spoon. I got, this is 1 tablespoon here. Also got my coffee filter. Now, I didn't need the whole filter, I just cut the edge off around it. So basically I'm just left with this little wafer here. Also got a few different kinds of substrates. This here, got gravel, see there, pebbles, thing you might find in an aquarium, and this bag of fine sand in here. And of course, last but not least, got my lovely, lovely wetland water that I collected outside. Now, if you don't have access to a creek or a pond, that's okay. You can still use tap water, and then what you can do is you just go outside and then add into your jar of water there just any little bits of dirt or leaves or twigs or anything you find in there. Just make it dirty. Now I want to make sure I keep my coffee far away from this. I do not want to confuse the two. All right, now I'm going to zoom in a little closer and let's get started. All right, well, first thing I suggest you do is take your filter here and your coffee filter paper. You want to secure that little bottle opening with a rubber band here. So get that nice and tight around there. So that just means you're going to have to wrap this around to, well, let's say 3 times here. Make that nice and secure. Just like that. All right, set that aside real quick. So what we want to think about now is how do we want to layer our different materials inside our filter. One option, of course, is you can think, well, if I've got this dirty water in here, I got a lot of, larger bits in there. See some, I don't know if you can see clearly enough there. There's a lot of algae in there, but there are some sticks and reeds and twigs there, so bigger materials. Then, of course, you've also got, smaller materials, maybe small grains of sand or, little chunky bits of mud. So you might think, maybe I want to try and get rid of the larger things out first, and then as it goes through the different layers and trickles down and finally outside the coffee filter, I want to trap those smaller and smaller bits. Another way of thinking is, well, actually, maybe I want to put in the gravel first, then maybe the pebbles, slightly smaller than the gravel, and then the sand on top. Well, so you can try it any way you want, any layer you want. In fact, if you just wanted to do sand, you can just do sand. You can also mix it up with the sand and the pebbles here. You can intersperse the layers, so you can have sand, pebbles, sand, pebbles, sand, pebbles, however you like to do it. What I am going to do actually is I am going to take some sand. I'm going to put that in first. So I'm going to take my tablespoon here. All right, now, turns out this actually has some pebbles in it, but that's okay. It's mostly sand, so I'm going to pour that in. I can hold it so you can see a little better there. And maybe I'll just hold it like that. I'll take 2 more tablespoons. Heaping tablespoons. All right. I got a layer of sand in there mixed with some pebbles. That's okay. Next, I'm going to do the pebbles. And I'm just going to do 1 more tablespoon. You don't have to be precise with your measurements. I'm just doing with this with a tablespoon. That's fine. I'll do a little bit more with the pebbles, however you like to do it. Of course, if you want to be consistent, keep track of this, then you can say 3 tablespoons of the sand, 3 tablespoons of pebbles, and so on. But the main idea here is just to show you generally how a filter works. Now I'm going to put in my gravel. Okay, so gravel, essentially just think of them as small rocks or slightly larger pebbles there. Let's put in a few more. All right. So here is my filter here. And if I wanted to, of course, I can add in, say, another layer of sand. I can add in pebbles. I can add in more gravel. I can fill this all the way up to the top. This is just a quick demonstration to show you how this works. All right, now remember the bottom half of the bottle. I told you you can keep that because this half fits nicely on the bottom. All right, so I've got my filter all set up here. Got my layers, and we're going to see what happens. So what I'm going to do now, take my delicious looking wetland water here, and I am going to slowly pour it in. Oh, overflowed, that's okay. That's why I've got this plywood here. Now I'm just going to lift this up carefully. Hopefully you can see. Not quite drained. Oh. If you can see in there, you see a little trickle inside. So it's going to be pretty slow. But you should be able to see already how much cleaner that water is. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to guess it's going to maybe take maybe 5 minutes for it to go all the way through. I don't want to keep you waiting that long. So I'm going to pause it right here, and then I'll be right back, and I will show you my result. I'm down in our innovation zone. I like to use this space as sort of a lab for wetland activities I like to do. It's also a good spot to show you just how clear that water is. Now I actually let this go for about 15 minutes just to try and get every drop of water out of there. And yeah, you can see just how much clearer it is. All that stuff, the algae, looks like we got a leaf there, a reed or a blade of grass, all that got left behind. Now, just because this water is clearer does not mean it's clean or safe to drink. Please do not try and drink it. The reason is even though all that stuff up there got left behind, there's still tiny microscopic particles in there, maybe like some bacteria, little nasty things like that, that are still in there. And those wouldn't be safe to drink. So What I demonstrated is a process called physical filtration. Think of it as basically you have a barrier that separates the water that flows right through from all the larger particles up there. They're blocked, they can't get through. There are, of course, different methods of filtration that do get rid of the bacteria and other little pollutants and things like that you can find in water. But this is just a fun, simple way to show you basically how a filter works. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to finish my coffee, and I will see you next week for another video. Take care.